This podcast is part of the Podcast Your Scene Network. Visit us at www.podcastyourscene.com.
You know, the local media has an agenda that they're going to serve. I don't know who's in charge of it or what it is, if it's like a headless monster.
Why? Is a question.
Walking backwards. Something sacred.
I don't know the names of the Creep songs. Those are
Running in
CDs that
circles.
just pop in and let play.
Sea of Glass.
The flight and the fall.
I love Ozzy. I think he's the true definition of a rock star.
So get about by your speakers.
Anybody else have any interesting stories they don't want on the show?
This is Doug from After the Fall.
Hey, this is John Lane from the thriving metropolis of Leechburg, Pennsylvania.
The Pennsylvania Rock Show, featuring the best unsigned rock that Pennsylvania has to offer.
What's up, everyone? It is the Pennsylvania Rock Show, episode number 663, coming at you on PARockShow.com, live on musicfromthe412.com. We're also on xrpradio.co.uk, oldiesxl.com out of Philadelphia. XRP is in Scotland, almost forgot to mention that. Rootaroo Radio on the beaches of San Diego, California. BuildTheScene.com here in Prosper, Pennsylvania. And Mega Rock Radio, as well as 107.1 FM, St. Louis, Missouri. Once again, this is episode 663. With me tonight is Dave. What's up, Dave?
How you doing? Thanks for having me on.
I'm doing well. Dave is from Endbringer and Brace for Impact, and what we're going to talk about tonight, the Upstage Music Fest. So I had a lot of stuff to say there in the beginning. I do want to mention that you also, right before we came on for the interview, heard from Drawn the Deep with their track Black Sun Drive. And you also heard some Corpse God and their song Remnants of a Fallen God. And one other thing I want to mention is in 2 weeks from now, on Music from the 412, we're going to debut two brand new shows. They're Jazz's Rockin' Road Show and the Backstage Pass with Randy Hollenbeck. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they have to offer. With that said, let's talk about the Upstage Music Fest. This is the third year, correct?
Correct.
All right. Can you give us a little bit of the history behind the show?
Okay, so it started, this will be the third year. It started in 2021. The Clearfield Fairgrounds. It was an out day, outside, just a one-day fest. Friends bands that we used to play with, from years ago. It was an idea that I came up with, and then we collectively as a group decided to move forward with it, just to have a festival to showcase local talents and national talent. I thought it would be a good idea to incorporate some nonprofits in there to have benefits for. So we got a local skate park involved in a spay and neuter clinic that year. And last year, the first year went really well, and there was a lot of talk, a lot of hype. So we went on, last year with it, and it went to a 2-day fest, and same thing, got some nonprofits involved with it, and we got the Clearfield Volunteer Fire Department involved in it last year, and it was we moved it indoors because the weather scares me, man. Like when you have more than a one-day event, the weather just scared me. So we all agreed to move it inside. Had 2 stages, and it went off without a hitch.
So you mentioned where it is in Clearfield. When is the show? What are the 2 dates this year?
Friday, August 11th, and Saturday, August 12th.
And we'll get into who's playing each of those dates a little bit later. But where can tickets be purchased?
www.theupstagemusicfest.com.
You mentioned having some national acts. Who have you had on the bill so far?
For this year, or for what we've had so far?
So far,
we've had Sworn Enemy, Internal Bleeding, Madball. There was some national tribute acts like Schism, the Toll tribute band, Just Sabbath, the Black Sabbath tribute band, Nixon Time, which is a Stevie Nicks, Fleetwood Mac tribute. Those were the ones we had in the past.
Who are some other bands that have graced the stage that aren't playing this year?
Oh, geez. Cropsey, heavy hardcore band out of New York. Oh, geez. You're putting me on a spot because there's quite a few bands this year that have played last, even though we're trying to mix it up. But trying to look at my IAT, real quality band. See what else we have on there that hasn't been coming up. Hellbent, Treaties, Skeptic Lens, Afraid of Human. Those are some bands that Lyndhurst, Hold Fast. Hold Fast is from your area, I believe. Those are some bands that have played in the past that are not going to be playing this year. Like I said, we try to, keep it fresh.
How do you, or I know that you announced the bands a little differently this year. Do you want to talk about how you did that?
Yeah. So, we try to stick to like a blueprint as far as do a Facebook Live, build some hype, get some energy out there, get people looking at the website, looking at the Facebook page. Then we just all get together as a group and we announce it live on Facebook. We announced it close to a month earlier this year than we have in the past.
I didn't get to see it, but I feel like it would be like watching the NFL draft or something. Because if I recall correctly, the bands didn't know who was being announced.
Yeah, and so I think things are different. Like I kind of pride ourselves in letting bands submit to a fest because us as a group, we're pretty well connected in the scene, and we could easily, and probably same with you could easily pick a 2-day fest. You have the bands you want to play, and we could do that as well. But I think opening it up allows, because there's millions of other bands out there that I've never heard of, or any of us. So it really opens it up and lets them submit their music. And like this year, there's a good dozen bands that we've never even heard of. Heartsick's one of them, and they are phenomenal. I've never heard of them, and they have a huge following. And that was the main purpose behind that. As far as not telling the bands that if they're picked, I just thought that would be like, like you said, like a draft pick, and they tuned in. A lot of them tuned in that live announcement, a lot went on. So yeah, I thought it went over pretty well.
Very cool. Well, we're going to take a break here for a moment. We're going to hear Samara, Annihilation Time, and Trainwrecked Failure on the podcast. On the on the video, you're going to get to see some information about free tickets that you might want. So we'll be right back. Hey, It's Bill
Yep.
here on Pennsylvania Rock Show Live to tell you about next week's 2-ticket giveaway for the Kentucky Headhunters at Jurgles in conjunction with Drusky Entertainment. So Drusky Entertainment, Music from the 412 have gotten together and are giving away 2 tickets to selected shows. And this one will be drawn next Monday at 9 p.m. You have until 8 p.m. next Monday to enter. The show is April 2nd, 2023. 5 p.m. is an early entry. That's a $42 ticket. 6 p.m. is the doors. That's $28 in advance or $30 the day of the show. The show begins at 7 p.m. It is a 21 and over. The early entry tickets guarantee you a seat in the venue. General admission guarantee you entrance, but not a seat. What you're going to do to get a chance at those 2 tickets, you're going to go to musicfromthe412.com. You're going to click on contests up here in the main menu. And then you will scroll down to this Facebook button. You'll click it and it'll pop up a window. You're going to tag Music from the 412 and Drusky Entertainment. You'll hit post to Facebook. Then you're going to come over here to the contest submission, fill in your name and your email. You're going to check that you've shared the event and that you've tagged both Music from the 412 and Drusky Entertainment and hit submit. The only thing we're going to use that email address for is to send you your tickets should you win. With that said, we're going to get back to the Pennsylvania Rock Show. Make sure you watch us each and every Monday night at 9 p.m. Somewhere between 9 and 10 is when you will get to see who won the tickets. Plus, you get to hear some new music that you may not have heard before and hear interviews from bands from the local scene. My name is Bill, and I will see you just shortly on the flip side of this on the live show. Okay, so you just heard Samara, Annihilation Time, and Trainwreck Failure. You are tuned into the Pennsylvania Rock Show, episode number 663. With me today is Dave from the Upstage Music Fest, and we are on to segment number 2. Dave, do you happen to have a list of the bands that are playing on day 1 with you? Awesome.
Yes,
I forgot to make sure of that while we were talking earlier. Before we get there, though, you mentioned that there's a 2-stage setup. Can you give us a little bit of information about how that works?
So it's really cool how it works. You walk in the door, there's a stage right in front of you, and then about 80 feet away to your right, there's another stage. If you've been to the fest last year, it'll be the same setup, and it's a well-oiled machine. First band's going on, the other band's setting up. As soon as they hit their last note, like everybody literally pivots and the other band hits their first chord. I mean, it was crazy. I was like, man, this is like watching The Walking Dead, because like the walkers, because they would slowly turn and start walking to the other stage. And it was like every band on time. Worked out very well.
I did that one time at a show with an acoustic act, and we only had one stage, but in between sets while they were setting up, the acoustic person was on stage in the middle of the stage playing while the band was setting up behind them, so there was like no downtime.
Yeah. And when you have that many bands, it's hard to manage, but like everybody did very well.
Speaking of that, how many bands are playing over the 2 days?
16 bands on day 1 and 21 in band on day 2. So what's that, 36?
Would you say 16 on day 1 and how many on day 2?
21.
37.
Yeah, 37.
I almost agreed with you, and then I was like, wait, that doesn't sound right.
Hey, I always need double checked.
So who is playing on day one?
All right, starting it out, we have, like I said, the two stages. The main stage is the Upstage, and then record label, 1054 Records has sponsored.
I tried to Google that, and I all I saw was the number, and I couldn't come up with anything.
Really?
Yeah, I just 1054 Clearfield is what I Googled, because
yeah, 1054records.com. They're based out of Australia.
Okay.
They sponsored the second stage. So starting out the day on Friday, which is Friday, August 11th, the doors will open at 3. Show starts at 3:30. We will have a local band, Public Execution, Video Massacre, Paths to Glory, Confessions, Casey Becker, A Starlight Gray, Trainwrecked, which you've all heard.
Yes, I've seen them live. They're amazing.
Yes,
I saw them live as themselves, and I saw them live doing a tribute to. Wow, why am I blanking on the band name? Masks. Wow.
Slipknot?
Yes, thank you. I can't believe I couldn't come up with Slipknot. Yes.
Yeah, they're a good band. After Trainwreck, The Snipped, then Heartsick, Endbringer, Assault on Fifth, Debrained, Age of Ruin, and then headline in the 1054 stage will be Cemented in Fear from Pittsburgh, and then headlining the Upstage will be Prevailer from New Jersey.
Cool.
And again, that's Friday, August 11th. Doors open at 3, shows at 3:30. Get the tickets at the upstagemusicfest.com.
Speaking of that, you have pre-sales going on.
Pre-sales are going on right now till May 1st. And then, the ticket prices obviously will go up a few bucks.
What are the ticket prices currently?
Right now, the pre-sale for Friday is $20, and a pre-sale for Saturday is $33.
Is there a deal if you purchase both days, or is it?
Yes, there's a deal on there. If you go on, when you go onto our website, if you click on the poster that's up, it'll take you to the shop page, and it breaks down different pricing platforms, different sales packages, hotels, VIPs, all that kind of stuff.
Cool. Let me think. What else can I ask you about day one? Oh, I mentioned Randy Hollenbeck and backstage pass earlier.
Yeah.
I'm reminding you again that he's going to come visit you guys and do music from the 412.
Yeah, I spoke with them, and I also when the tickets get printed, so they'll be here around end of May, beginning of June for all those that ordered. I'll be sending them out then. I'm sending you some too for giveaways for the show.
Oh, cool. I can definitely do that. So let's take another short break, and we'll come back and talk about day 2 and a few other things. What you're going to hear next is Brace for Impact Control, and you hear Endbringer Judgment. So you get to hear Dave. You play the drums on those two bands, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you're going to get to hear Dave
twice.
Yep. And you're also going to hear, for those of you that are watching the video, you're going to see a PA Rock Show commercial. With that said, we'll be right back.
Catch the Pennsylvania Rock Show live Mondays on Music from the 412. Join host Bill Damiano for music and exclusive interviews with the best unsigned bands Pennsylvania has to offer. Featuring the best variety of rock and metal with new shows every week. Plus, you can catch replays every Saturday morning and stream us on the radio. Want to get your band featured in an upcoming episode? Visit Build the Scene online for submissions and additional information.
You timed that perfectly.
Yes, I did.
So you just heard Brace for Impact Control and Endbringer Judgment. And we do have, I've definitely played those multiple times on the PA Rock Show, but I think we featured both bands at some point. Like, I'm pretty sure we did. Maybe one of them was on 3 Questions in a Song, but
Yeah, Endbringer.
yeah.
I remember you doing that.
Anyway, so day 3, before we get into who's playing, you mentioned that the show benefits some local charities. Who are the charities this year?
The Clearfield Children's Aid Society. And right now we're working on another one. I don't want to put the cart before the horse here, but there'll be 2. We always have 2 every year. But the Children's Aid Society is the main one right now.
Okay. So why don't you go ahead and run down that list for me for day 2, those 21 bands.
All right. Kicking it off, we have Place Blame. You heard of them? Pittsburgh?
I have.
Yeah, great band. Another great band. I mean, Pittsburgh's being represented here by I think 5 bands. But starting it off is Place Blame, Samara, Path of the Flood, Suburban Downgrade, Back to Life, Human Animal, Negative 13, Silence Equals Death, Extinguish the Code, The Filthy Lowdown, Orlando Furioso, Idle Minds, Brace for Impact, Dogs of War, Strength for a Reason, Scarfold, Concrete Ties, 4 in the Chamber, The Take, Sick of It All, and Life of Agony. Again, that's day 2. That's Saturday, August 12th. Doors open at 11. Show starts at 11:30. For both days, there's merch vendors, food vendors. There's a beer tent, 21 and over. So get your tickets now, because I've been keeping up to date and speaking with the guys in Life of Agony, and I believe since they've been back in the U.S., 7 out of 10 of their shows have sold out. So we're down.
I was just going to say your pre-sale tickets are getting low, right?
Yeah, we're less than 125 pre-sale tickets, so we're probably at the 104 mark right now.
And it's still 5 months away.
Yeah, I know. I know. That's a lot of tickets, but a lot of tickets go quick. So yeah, it's a really solid line.
Tell us a little bit more about the venue itself. I know you have the 2 stages, but what else is going on there?
The venue is just I guess you would call it a pole building. It's just a metal building, metal roof, concrete floor, kitchen in the back, wide open, 150 feet by 80 feet of wide open space. And it's used for our annual Clearfield County Fair as a vendor building. And that's where we've been having the fest the past couple years, and probably continue to have it there. However, this is really starting to grow, so we might have to consider moving back outside on the main stage at some point or another.
Is it completely enclosed, like the sides or walls? I was gonna say maybe you could turn the stage to face the pavilion. Is that the right word?
Yeah, climate controlled indoor. Yeah.
I mean, I've been to quite a few outdoor festivals similar, like the Rock for Life stuff, and some of my fondest memories are during the storms.
Yeah, I know. It's just something that worries me, with equipment and that many bands.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's just
there's a video of Amber Alexis playing through what looks like a typhoon. It's raining sideways. I'll try and find it and show it to you.
That's the worst when you're on that stage, because it's a huge stage. I mean, it's 40 by 60. It's gigantic. And the roof on it is like, I believe it's 30 foot high. So that's plenty of room for wind driven rain to come in.
So what's your, like, clearly you want to keep building. So what's your goal? Like, you know, you just said that possibly you have to go outside, but like, is there a
Um, you know, the whole purpose of this thing is to, you know, showcase our local talent, our community, bring people in, and be able to see larger live bands in this area with really not having to travel. Raising money for various nonprofits, which some, you know, definitely desperately need. So it's kind of it's more of like a community outreach than anything. And it's a challenge for me personally. I don't know about the other guys in our group. I'm sure I could speak for them too. It's more of a challenge, like a challenge to bring bigger bands, get bigger bands, and just watch it build.
Now I'm going to ask you, because we have a few minutes, I'm going to throw some PA rock show type questions at you that I haven't asked you because we've been concentrating on the show. And I may have asked you these in the past because you have been on a few times, but
yeah,
we'll go with it. What's your favorite pizza that you've had because you're a musician? So you have to link it to something musically. Was it at a gig? Was it at a recording session? Was it on your way to or from a gig?
It was at a gig in Scranton, and I don't remember the place, and it was back in probably 2002, 2003. You know, when you play out a lot, sometimes cardboard would taste great, but this tasted really great, and I can't even remember the name of the place.
Do you remember the venue you were at?
What was it? Home Base, Club Home Base, Wilkes-Barre. That's where it was at, in Wilkes-Barre.
So if you could write a song with any songwriter in the history of the world, who would you want to write with?
Live or dead?
Yep.
It's probably going to catch a lot of people off guard, but Jim Morrison.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's what's coming.
Because you want to see the crazy, or because you like what he wrote?
I like what he wrote. I mean, it's really in tune with things. I mean, that's what came off the top of my head. I mean, I'm sure. I mean, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking Eddie Vedder.
Yeah, Seattle scene.
Yeah. Which is different because, I mean, heck, I've been playing in hardcore bands, you know, that's all I've ever played in. But yeah, I listen to Pearl Jam a lot, and I listen to the Doors a lot, and on the heavier side of things, probably Slayer. Right, Tom Araya from Slayer.
Cool. So last question for you, and
yes.
I know I've asked this one before, but it's the official build the scene question. It's who's your Dave Grohl?
You got to trademark that.
Yeah, who's your Dave Grohl? Who are you going up on stage with and performing one of their originals?
Oh man. That is a really good question. because so many bands are running through my head, but I think I'm going to stick with the Pearl Jam topic with anything off the album 10. They were my go-to, man, back in the day.
I have a what's the word I want? Not friend, because we've only really been in the same place a couple times. Acquaintance, who plays in the 10 band, which is a Pearl Jam tribute. They're phenomenal. And
where are they from?
From Pittsburgh.
We're gonna have to hook them up next year.
They and the music from the 412 Fire TV stream actually runs through 10 band TV. So, which is Todd, he's in the band, and then he runs 10band.tv, which is it's local high school hockey that gets broadcast similar to what we're doing tonight. And then you can also watch music from the 412 from his channel on the Fire TV as well. So I do want to thank you for hanging out with me tonight.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for doing what you're doing, and keep doing what you're doing.
No problem. It's the Upstage Music Fest.com. Did I get that right?
Correct.
And I do want to mention what you're going to hear next is Scale, Suicide Eyes, and Storms Within, Justified. And then on the video side, I have a whole list of videos that you guys are going to get to hear. Some of them are the songs we played on the podcast. And depending on time restraints, you may get to hear 2 tracks that are not, because I didn't have music for all the bands and videos for the same bands. But here's what we're looking at. On the video end, you're going to see Down the Deep, and there's their lyric video for Black Sun Drive, Corpse God, Remnants of a Fallen God, Trainwrecked Failure, Endbringer Judgment, Scale, Suicide Eyes. Now we're running into that point where we may run out of time, but I'm going to mention the last 3 just in case I get them all squeezed in. Storms Within, Justified, The Filthy Lowdown, Sex Owl, and Demetis With You. So that's where we're headed video wise. And again, on the podcast, you're going to hear Scale, Suicide Eyes, and Storms Within, Justified. And this has been the Pennsylvania Rock Show, episode number 663. I will see you next week. What's up, everyone? This is Bill from FirstAngelMedia.com, BuildAScene.com, and music from the412.com. And this is your concert calendar for the end of March. Tuesday, March 21st, 6 p.m. It's the live